Good Thursday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles, SUVs, the dogs, the property, the attitudes, the weather, views, ideas. Hey, good Thursday morning there, and thanks for all those that tuned to my channel for tuning in this morning. I hope you're having a blessed Thursday morning. Hope your week's treating you well. It's not easy in this physical world we live in to deal with the different challenges we all have each and every day of our life. And I hope Don's wife, Jenny's recovering from her knee surgery. Anybody's had knee surgery. My sister's had it. My dad's had it. We all know people have had it. And, you know, it's a challenging time because you're kind of, you get so down in your routine. But good news is, all those that I know have healed and they're better off. So just thinking about you there, Don and Jeannie. It's just anybody else out there on my channel. It's got health woes or whatever. Prayers for you, thoughts for you. Just reach out and let us share your story. Anyways, what are we doing now? What am I doing now, right? You saw my hat, right? I mean, it's cold. It's winter again. I got my Triumph paraphernalia on this morning. And, I mean, literally, it's the winter months are back. So we got teased, thinking that spring is here. It is, but it ain't. So what are we doing today? What are we talking about today? I thought, boy, oh boy. Trying to come up with words, ideas. I try to make one word. If you kind of look at my channel, I take a word like the refund on Monday, and then on Tuesday, what was the attack? Wednesday was sleep, and then today is Thursday, and I thought to myself, why don't we have the unhappiness conversation? Once again, I try to take one word, and I try to get creative by using that word that relates to the cars and trucks and motorcycles and whatever you may own that's an ICE vehicle, electric vehicle, and we then take that kind of into what the state of times is. That's what I try to do each day. That's my car channel. I try to keep it on the car theme, but also I like to kind of keep it also as well as the state of the times, because I think that just is intriguing and informative, and I just like to talk about the world events and other things. So here we are. We're going to have the unhappiness conversations, and we've had a lot of wind last few days, and thank goodness it's not windy this morning. It's actually very calm. The birds are trying to move in. I'm fighting like crazy with the birds. I'm literally smoking this barn out every afternoon, every evening. I was in the barn all day yesterday working on my equipment in the shop. After getting my dental work done, which I was 2 hours in the chair. 2 hours in the chair of getting two of my cavities taken out, and then having to take a crown out, put a crown back in. Then I got to go back. That was a long time, but I got a dentist who does a great job. It's so funny. Kiefer doesn't know Ginger is out here first. So he's right now, he doesn't know where Ginger is. So that was pretty cool. The Ginger girl stayed out. When does he kind of start to figure it out, as he destroys every freaking ball he has? That dog is the jaws of life. So yeah, so the unhappiness, and once again, the reason I thought of unhappiness was because of all the, come on, let's give it in tango, get in the shop, get upstairs, is because of all the comments I'm getting. Come on, Tank, get upstairs, dude, get upstairs, go on there. All the comments I'm getting from my Carvana experience, of all the people that seem very unhappy with what happened, and even reaching out to me that I should be very unhappy. Come on there, Kiefer boy. I should be very unhappy for taking the car. And why wouldn't you be unhappy? Because of the Carvana experience. Hey, yesterday I finally got motivated to put my mirror extenders on. Got my coffee here in my hand. I'm going to end up dropping it. Where is my barn opener? If I don't hit that thing down right now, I'll be upstairs and close the barn by accident. Anyways, I finally got a chance to put these mirrors. I've ridden this bike home and that's it. But these mirrors, they're so close in. When you're on the bike, you can't see behind you. So this little extender extends them out just a little bit. So I did a little how-to video. Nothing really that complicated, but it is, because it's reverse threads here and how you take this mirror off. And I dropped the damn thing, and it hit here. because I had the reverse threads going the wrong way, and the thing fell off, and it hit here instead of here, which would have then damaged the damn tank. I got my own fiasco, right? And then I'd be unhappy. So yeah, so the unhappiness, I just thought to myself this morning, wow, look at how much money is spent for unhappiness. The psychiatrists, what do they deal with? What is a psychiatrist? I mean, I have many friends and people I know that their kids are going to school to become a psychiatrist. I mean, it was Kelsey Grammer. Remember the Kelsey Grammer show? And he's a psychiatrist or whatever. I think that was right. There's been many like sitcoms of people, they making shows out of that. There's even a lady or something like that. So you think about how much money is spent for the unhappiness in the world. It's beyond believable. Then I got to think myself, which is kind of just far-fetched, but I thought to myself, I wonder how many fish, because it's mankind. I mean, sadly for us human beings, we have serious challenges. I mean, the person that thinks they're so special in life, those people, I want nothing to do with them. I'll just tell you straight up. The person that thinks they're so special, I don't want to hang out with that person, nothing in the world. I don't care how much money they have. I even left my very lucrative job working for a guy that thought he was so freaking special and better than me that I was like, you know what? I'm done with you, dude. I'm done. And even the point, I went broke. I went broke after leaving a very lucrative job, trying to go a different direction in my life. And I just know that guy. I was always hoping I was going to call him and just beg him for me to come back to work for him. I was like, there's no way. Don't sell your soul. I go to businesses all the time, and I see people just work for just really terrible people. And I think, you sell your soul. You're a fool. And I mean, and I'm making you come across aggressive in this, but this irks the crap out of me as an individual in life that I deal with people, business people that think they're so freaking special because they have money. They got money. So you know what? You kiss my ass. Kiss my ass, buddy. Be so lucky you even have a job. Screw those people. Don't support them. Walk. If they didn't have people who would kiss their ass, they wouldn't have a business. If they didn't have people who would kiss their ass, they wouldn't have customers. It's sell the soul. So that's all about unhappiness. That person ain't happy because the money didn't make them happy. Have you ever noticed that the people who have all the money, they don't seem to be very happy? They're unhappy. I had a guy reach out yesterday being critical of my channel because he says, oh, what's, and I've heard it many times, what's the void in your life, man? You're buying cars all the time. What's the void in your life? I don't know. What's the void in my life? I love cars and trucks and motorcycles. I mean, I said, what? Well, I don't hear anybody posting this on Jay Leno's frickin', channel. And then the guy responds back, well, that's delusional, dude. Jay Leno doesn't get on a YouTube channel every day and tell everybody he's going to buy tomorrow. I'm like, wait a second. Do you actually watch my channel? So the guy actually came back, and he was a cool guy. And if he's watching my channel this morning, hey, man, no hate here towards you. You didn't understand my channel. So he responded because I told him, I said, look, I have like 2,000 plus videos. You're telling me every video I make is about me telling you the next car I'm buying tomorrow? I don't know where you're getting this information. So he responded, which was very cool. He said, oh, okay, what's going on is YouTube is only sending me the shorts to your channel. So all I ever see is when you're going out to go buy something. So I didn't know about all the other content. I was like, all right. I said, you know what? Thank you for being so cool and not, being a jerk about it. But he was unhappy on how I present my channel. And that's a challenge. Once again, it's the unhappiness in life that you do something, person's not happy. But we'll kind of keep it with the cars to kind of to tone it down a little bit here, because you probably think I'm a little riled up, which I am. Because it's so sad what we're witnessing in today's world of the wealth that people are making. The amount of money people are making, and the way they disrespect others because they have money and they think they're so special. It's so sad. And the inheritance of wealth from parents, you know how many widows in this country are worth millions of dollars from their perished husband that made all the money, and they get all the money? And then what type of attitude sets in on that? I mean, it's the family fighter of the freaking money. It goes on all the damn time. It's just really, really bad. So for the unhappiness, go to the cars. So many people looking at that Z06 are thinking, I was a fool to take that car from Carvana. I may be a fool. It's possible. I'm not the smartest of the bunch. Never said I was. But what goes on in the car market, we all know. People buy something and they're unhappy. A person takes a car to a dealership, gets serviced, they're unhappy. You see, why do you have Yelp and the Google reviews? Why do so many businesses that really want to have the prestigious look of how great they are so concerned about how people make comments? And anybody that's unhappy, the very aggressive person that wants that 5-star rating, they have a team of people constantly reaching out to people going, whoa, 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 whoa. Why were you unhappy at our dealership? What did we do? How can we make it better? So, but at the same time, there's people that go to dealerships, they have their car worked, somebody gets a scratch on it, somebody gets a ding on it. Oh my gosh, I can tell you tons of stories. Take the car to the car dealership, and when you get it back, it's not the same car. So you're unhappy. So now for the car dealership, you tell the guy, hey man, there's a big old ding and dent on the side of my car that wasn't here when I brought it. And that's why the smart dealerships, they walk around the whole car. Yes, they do. Some dealers, not all of them, but they'll walk around the whole car and have you sign off on everything that you can see and they can see. This is the way it is. It's to protect you and them. It's a great idea. A lot of car dealerships don't do that. But it's because we get the car back and it has a ding in it. It has a ripped leather seat. If something's missing, who doesn't have any stories? So for the car industry, what's the biggest challenge they have is having to keep the customers happy, bringing products to the consumers. But we all know that's impossible. It'll never be, because some people are just unhappy. Why do you have psychiatrists? What does the $1 billion drug industry cater to? Pills of people that are unhappy. It's a huge addiction. It's a drug addiction. The people have to pop pills because they have depression. I mean, don't take it the wrong way. It isn't like they purposely want to be depressed. It's just a chemical makeup in your body, and sadly, you were born with it, just like with me. I have severe hearing loss. Did I create that? In some ways, you could say I did. As I growing up, listening to loud music. But no, it's the gene in my family that came from my father's side that makes me very hard of hearing. I come across very loud because I don't hear at the same level you do. So when I talk, I'm sure if you're around me in person, like, wow, that guy is so loud. Yes, it's because of my hearing loss. So the unhappiness, once again, you go out, you buy something. Why do people turn in their car 6 months later? I mean, you can use me as a perfect example of a person that goes out and buys something, and then I just trade it for something else. Why? Well, it's obvious, because I become, I guess, unhappy, bored with the car. That's my biggest challenge. So people say, what's your void in your life? The void in my life is I become unhappy and bored of whatever I bought. That's the void. So people are like, oh, it's your relationship, it's your challenge. No, it's about me getting my thrill of going through the adventure to buy a car or a truck. My wife will tell you straight up. It's like, you're all about going and getting the deal. You're all about negotiating, looking for the car. I mean, who doesn't know this routine? For me, my biggest danger in life is when I get focused on something, I just won't let it go. I just get focused and I got to have it. It's a good, bad thing. It's a good thing for the success of my life, of how aggressive I am to accomplish things, to become successful and earn monies. But it's a negative when it comes to me getting fixated on yet another car, another truck, motorcycle, no boats, no RVs at this time, but the car side. So what happens to me, for all those who are out there constantly, don't get me wrong, my regular subscribers aren't doing this, but I get these comments, and these people aren't going to be watching the video. But the point is, yes, what is my challenge in life? It's I get something that excites me so much, and I get that excitement through me from the adventure of finding the vehicle, and then going to the dealership and driving the vehicle, and then negotiating the deal, and then getting approved for the financing, and then signing the paperwork, and taking the vehicle home, and then specializing it by putting stickers on it, and some other things, tinting out the windows, whatever it may be, to get me to be happy about my purchase. And then it's unique and special to me. But then in the end, I get the thrill out of driving that vehicle, and then I kind of start to see the imperfections of the vehicle, and what I thought was so exciting isn't so exciting. And then I get to a point like, you know what? I just want to trade this for something else. And the irony is, The irony to all that void that I create to myself, I end up buying back the same thing down the road. That's what's classic. If you're watching my channel, you'll be like, yeah, how many Ford F-450s have I owned? How many Ford Raptor trucks have I owned? How many Dodge Chargers have I owned? How many Ford Broncos have I owned? How many F-250 Tremors have I owned? You can go through the list. It's just like, yeah, so this guy goes out, gets rid of the car, yet 6 months, a year later, he's got the same thing back, but it's just a different color, different package. Yeah, because it's all about the adventure. It's for me. So if you're unhappiness, but it's huge. It isn't just me. It's look at the used car market. You look at the car market and you see tons of freshly used vehicles that somebody got rid of. Why'd they get rid of it? Because it's obvious they became unhappy, or once again, they're going to fill the void in their life is they had their fun with the vehicle and they want to get something different. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of people out there that agree to that high car payment. And once they get into the vehicle and they've owned it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they come to realize they're not happy about that financial responsibility they took on. And they become unhappy because the car doesn't give them that happiness they had when they first got it. And they're unhappy because their checking account is at the lowest point ever in their life. Hey, ask me how I know these stories. Yes. Yeah. What do you think my challenges are? Yeah. Unhappiness of your all your money going out every month to pay for your toys. So here's the next equation, which we talk about all the frickin' time. What are we talking about all the time? The green agenda, the ICE agenda. So what's the unhappy? What is the unhappiness right now in this world? The unhappiness is this ICE age vehicle. This is, oh, I just turned off my video by accident. That doesn't happen. So this is making people unhappy. Now, it'll be interesting if this video doesn't get all screwed up, which it does. The ICE agenda is making the green agenda all unhappy. Yes, the happy ICE people, which in some ways that's not totally true, but for all the ICE people, the green agenda people, the electric vehicle people, they're very unhappy because you and I want to drive around these carbon footprint, destroy the world. We're making Mother Nature unhappy because of our addictions to having to have a gas engine that rumbles. And instead, the EV agenda wants you to be riding around in this car that's silent and doesn't emit any net zero tail emissions. But it did emit a lot of emissions to be built, to be created, to all the materials made for it, to be shipped to the dealership, blah, blah, blah. Then you plug it in, and if you're on the natural gas or the coal plant, you're not really zero emissions in that car. But once again, for the green agenda, they're unhappy with the position of so many of us people that are on the ICE age equation because we love the rumble, we love the noise. But what makes people unhappy that are the true motorheads is you go out and buy a car, just like me. This Super B, really cool car. But it doesn't get that exhaust note in the interior that I would have thought I would have got out of mac and cheese. So in some ways, I'm unhappy with the end result of that car not really giving me the rumble that I thought it should. And the Mopar products, it just seems like that's a constant challenge. I've talked about it a gazillion times. This truck here, in some ways, it's too aggressive. And in some ways, I'm not happy because it's so loud inside the cab truck. But it's really cool. But if somebody calls you, you can barely hear them. You come into the garage here and you listen to the Mustang Dark Horse. I'm very happy with the way this car sounds. The Camaro back there, modded exhaust. I'm very happy. That Challenger back there, it sounds okay. We ripped everything out of the exhaust except the Cadillac converters, but it just doesn't really get back into the interior. I mean, it sounds good, but it doesn't sound good in the interior. What's the biggest complaint about the Raptor truck? What are people unhappy about? They're unhappy it's a V6 twin turbo. Yeah, the Raptor R, the V8 motor, that brings smiles and happiness to those that can listen to the Raptor R because it's got that V8 motor. This is a V6. Those 2 cylinders left, 2 cylinders less has created the unhappiness of people buying V6 motors. They don't like them. And at the end of the day, the fuel economy is respectable. I mean, it's okay, but it's not radical. So the Raptor R, but it's a lot of money to get that happiness. That's the thing. The unhappy to the happy, you're spending a lot of money. I mean, think this through. People take medicine, people go see professionals because they're unhappy. What are they trying to do? They're trying to become more happy. Well, what goes in with cars and trucks and motorcycles? What makes you happy? The guy that owned this Tremor truck, he was not happy with the way it was originally factory. So what did he do? He went out and put a Carly suspension underneath of it, new wheels, tires. He jacked it up to give him more happiness because he was unhappy of how that truck looked to him. Then I was unhappy on the stupid ass running boards that were on this thing, and I put in the rough country e-boards, which makes my life a lot happier. Same thing for the Mopars. What do people do? I just talked about it. Well, people change out the exhaust. What do people do with the Hellcats? They take them and they make them more powerful. And they rip out the exhaust to make them more powerful. Then they get the ECMs. Why? Because they're unhappy with the performance of the product. The real story on these Dodges, they're so locked down that you really have to get into the ECM to reprogram these cars really to come to life to give you what you bought. That's a fact. And there's guys out there that know how to do that. And if you're a big Mopar guy and you really are wanting a lot more power out of your car, if you can find the right tuner guy, he will make this car a whole new car. Over here, I'm very happy on the Z28. Yes, I'm very happy about that, but what could I be unhappy with it about it? That I think that Kiefer Boy jumped up on the car and scratched it. I showed my daughter last night, it's like, there you go. There's Kiefer Boy, already scratched the car. You know, that's why I tell people, I will never own some high-end collectible car. I'll never own one. I don't deserve it. I don't have the environment for that. And for me, I don't think I'll be happy if I have the 1967 Camaro Z28 or the 69 ZL1. I mean, these are things that are out of my reach. But the whole point is, I would feel unhappy to drive the vehicle. It's too special. There's a very fine line there where you start collecting these old cars. People ask me all the time, what do you collect older cars? Like, no, I don't want to collect older cars. You know why I don't collect older cars? It's a disgrace to take them and drive them. Like I was telling my daughter yesterday, hey, we'll go back to Florida maybe here like mid to late April. We'll go see my parents, hopefully, get out of town. And I said, this time around, we'll take the F450, the bikes down, and maybe you follow me down in the Mustang or maybe the Camaro. And even she was like, no, we can't take the Camaro. Right. Why? You'd be a fool because the Camaro is special. It's unique. So you would be unhappy. I'd be unhappy taking this to Florida because you're just racking the miles up on it because it really is a very unique and rare car. Unbeknownst to me, and I talked about the sleep conversations of all the Z's yesterday of how that came to be. So with the unhappiness, that's the challenge. For all of us, the motorcycles, like look at me. I went out and bought this nice Honda Goldwing, and I got a ton of accessories for it to put on it, which I've never even done, because I'm not going to be happy with the bike until I have a little bit more personalized to my liking. The exhaust on these bikes, it's a huge difference of happiness and unhappiness. People know that. If you have a motorcycle and you start it up and it has just that lame, exhaust to it, you're not happy. But here's the thing: the EPA and the manufacturers the EPA is hammering the manufacturers where they're forcing the manufacturers to really tone down how loud your motorcycle is because it pisses people off in these HOAs. I talked about that yesterday. That if you have a motorcycle down there in that HOA where my parents live, you can't start it up until like 7:30 or something like that. And at one time, they wouldn't even allow motorcycles in that whole area down there because it made people unhappy to see a motorcycle going on the road. Wow. I mean, sincerely, you see these radical green activists, they go lay down on highways because they're unhappy that you're driving a vehicle that in their world is going to destroy Mother Nature and that they have the answers to fix all this. And so they're very unhappy and they go protest and they go do crazy things like throwing paint on very good, expensive art and museums to make statements about the oil, the fossil fuels. These are very unhappy people. So that's what I'm trying to convey this morning is it's incredible what is going on. And think about this. For Jim Farley, he came to realize that people are unhappy with the direction of Ford because he went out of his way to create the green agenda, electric vehicles, and at the end of the day, at this moment, it's not playing out the way he thought it would, and he's come to realize people are very unhappy about how he thought that everybody would be running to buy every freaking electric truck built, and he wouldn't be able to build them fast enough. It's not just Jim Farley. It's many other electric vehicle manufacturers out there that have all pulled back because they realize that people are not happy. They're unhappy with the direction that the manufacturers are going. And then for us, we're unhappy because everything here has gotten so expensive. And I've talked about it a gazillion times, that I think that the ICE age is supplementing the EV age. And I think people have caught on to this, and it's really irking them. And they're probably like, you know what, I'm not going to support the electric agenda, the electric vehicles, because the automakers are abusing their policies by forcing me to pay more money for something just to supplement it to be for something else that I don't believe in. So people are unhappy about that position. And so for the unhappiness of mankind, think about how much money is spent on unhappiness. You know, just from the cars, the motorcycles. You go to a restaurant, the food isn't good, and then the proprietor has to then take the position to give the person a free meal. If you don't give it to them, you never see them again. But then there's some people who are just unhappy, and they're unhappy of their own circumstances, that they don't make enough money to pay for things. They can't go out and eat enough when they want. And is that just a way of them getting around to get something for free? And more than ever, we're witnessing in our country so many unhappy people coming here. That's costing us hundreds of millions. It'll be billions of dollars in the end, that there's so many unhappy people coming to our shores to supposedly to be happy. But yet the people here in this country are not happy about what they're doing to our country. So we're unhappy. But yet those unhappy people here come here because they want to be happy because the federal government is going to enrich them to be here on the so-called happy taxpayers of this country that are unhappy about how this is all being handled. Even to the point that Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, he's finally bent. He's bent. You know, he's bending to, I feel, the Democrats have finally overtaken his powers. If you're watching this and you listen to my channel, I have talked so many times about how Mike Johnson, I don't know why this guy, Gates, what the hell his name was, they kicked out McCarthy and put in Johnson. I'm not here saying McCarthy was the better guy, Matt Gaetz. So he got McCarthy kicked out of being Speaker of the House. And so now you got this guy, Mike Johnson. And if you listen to my channel, I've talked about so many times about how he kicks the can to the curb. He keeps on creating bipartisan deals. Well, the day of reckoning has come. Today, all the senators and congressmen are going to be looking at the bill, final revised bill, to be passed to keep the government funded through the fiscal year of September of this year, or whatever date it is. And he has to agree in so many ways with the Dems to get this bill to get passed and force the GOP to go with the bill. And the bill has so much language in it that he opposes the slowdown of people reading the bill. So this morning, if you're a sitting senator, congressman, you're going to have a bill put in front of you that's thousands and thousands of pages long that you're expected to read and sign off within the next 72 hours. And so a lot of the other GOP people are like, this is stupid. We have to put a delay on this bill getting passed. We have to read the fine print. And Mike Johnson's attitude is, no, we're not doing that. We got to govern the country. We got to take care of everything. Just sign the frickin' bill and move on, which you already know. In the bill is a lot of stuff that most Americans aren't supporting. I mean, some will try to present that there's more happy people than unhappy people, and that's the whole thing in the media right now. The whole media machine is trying to present that more people are happy than unhappy. Well, I don't think that's factual. I think most people probably agree that most people are not happy with what's going on in this country right now by the governing powers to be. So for Mike Johnson, here you go. What was accomplished by Matt Gaetz kicking out Steve McCarthy out of House Speaker, and now Mike Johnson is just going to bend to the Democratic rules and dominance of getting what they want and move on. And then for everybody that says the Ukrainian war, think about this. For Mr. Putin, he was unhappy with Ukraine. What did he do? He invaded Ukraine. Ukraine isn't happy that they invaded them, so they're fighting. So what's the amount of money being spent right now between Russia and Ukraine of unhappiness? It's going to be trillions of dollars between both sides of the equation. You go to Gaza, the Palestinians, Israel. What has been a major problem there for 50 years? They're unhappy with each other. How much money has been spent to try to create happiness over the unhappiness? And at the end of the day, there's far more unhappy people than there are happy people. You go to Iran, Iraq, you go to Hamas, Houthi, they're not happy. They're extremely unhappy with the world governing bodies of how they treat them and how they look at their views. And we're in a war. You come here to our country, once again, people are unhappy from the way police manage things to the point that people were convinced to defund the police, to the unhappiness of how the police, the district attorneys, the court systems, it got so much traction that there's so much unhappiness that at the end of the day, states and cities have rewritten the laws that make it so for all the unhappy so-called people that feel like the police don't know how to manage their cities and their towns, they've changed the laws now where all the unhappy criminals are now happy. But now all the citizens that were in some ways happy or unhappier. I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, come on. What is going on? I mean, sincerely, for mankind, and now we got Elon Musk, that's, the Neuralink, the Starlink, SpaceX, Optimus, artificial intelligence. What is going on? All this new technology is bringing artificial intelligence. Is it going to make you happier or unhappy? And I think for the people that start to lose their jobs to artificial intelligence, I think you're going to have a lot of unhappy people. Let's get up here. Can't really keep track of the time here because I lost it when I turned it off. On the goofball antics of me. What do you got now? So what is he eating now? I have no idea. He's eating. No, Kiefer. That's the freaking bullet. No, that's the bullet. No, stop it. Jesus Christ. That's the bullet shifter from the car. Like he's doing. Look at this here. This dog here, he just destroys everything, man. I mean, everything gets destroyed. There's a, yeah. German Shepherd. Whose idea was that? Yeah. Was I happy about that? Yeah. Right. Sure, Mr. Has all the answers. Yeah, no, I don't. Anybody here? No, get out of my way. You're going to knock my coffee over. It just doesn't end. I'm freezing. It is so cold out there. And just to show how cold it is, my whole glasses, see how the transition glasses, they're the worst in winter months because they don't adapt as fast and from the real cold to the warm. So unhappiness, and like I said earlier, how many unhappy fish are in the ocean versus how many unhappy people are, what do you read? Sincerely, what do you read on a constant basis? So like here in Loudoun County, Virginia, there's a lot of unhappy parents because the elementary school kids have been changed to a 7:30 show up time to be in school. Which they used to be in school like at 8:15, I think. But I think years ago they were at 7:30. So now all these unhappy parents are crying the blues that their kids can't sleep. Their kids, have a hard time adjusting to get out of bed on time. I think it's more about the parents, personally. I think it's more about, if you're a parent, I did this stuff. I've talked about this. My daughter, for like the first X amount of years of her life, I owned 3 companies. I ran 3 different businesses. I worked 7 days a week. I'm not embellishing here. I did that. And so my daughter, she was being taken care of half the time at my mother-in-law's house. So once she got into first grade, we put her in a private Christian school that's basically close to an hour from this house here. So then I went through incredible financial hardships, which I've talked about that, and I had then to, we had her in a Christian, we had her in school, so we weren't going to take that away from her. But the school was close to my mother-in-law, not to me. So now when I brought Julia back home, I should say when I brought Julia home to start really taking her under mine to raise her, it was all because I just made a choice in my life that, you know what, things went to a shambles, and if it's meant to be, it'll be meant to be, but I'm going to take care of my kid first, and if I can continue to be very successful, then great. If I can't, then I'd rather raise my kid. I'd rather take care of my child and let the child know who I am and raise her. So I did. But now I'm having to drive down to this Christian school every morning. So I'm getting out of bed at 5:45 in the morning to get out of here by 6:30 in the morning to get her to school by 7:30 in the morning. So yeah, so now I was doing that. And then I had to drive all the way back here to my office to get everybody in shape to go to work. And then I would go to work and I have to go drive again. I was doing sometimes 300-400 mile days. I mean, yes. Did I have sleep deprivation? I mean, sincerely, I was driving around some days like, wow, because I just drove so much. Yeah, I was talking about sleep yesterday. Yeah, would I be like sleepy because I'm just going nonstop of having to drive all day and take care of that? Then I had to be back down there to pick her up like at 4:30. So I had to coordinate my whole day around that. So that was very challenging. So the whole point of that is, yeah, was I unhappy about that? Yeah, but was I going to fight with my wife and my mother-in-law and father-in-law about where she's going to school? No, I didn't do it. And I just was so happy that school pissed my wife off so bad. She yanked my daughter out of that school and put her to a school half a mile away, which I was preaching. There's a school half a mile away right up the street here. It's a fine school. It's fine. But hey, unhappy wife, unhappy life. Ever know that story? Happy life, happy wife. So here's some really good information that I read about, and it's really incredible. Oh, here's Feds tighten emission rules. So yeah, jeez, man, I tell you what. All right, so U.S. no longer ranks among world's 20 happiest countries. This should be very concerning. Because I think to myself, we're in a social media machine like never ever seen. And what you witness is, when you were growing up as a kid, did your parents let you be around other adults that mouthed off, that swore, that said very violent things? No. If as a parent, you would never take your child to hang out with a group of people that are being profane and being very violent, being very nasty. You wouldn't do that, right? But yet today, on the social media machine, people enjoy to mouth off and cuss people out and make really nasty, nasty comments. And I don't think they ever think to themselves, there's younger people reading this. So as you mouth off that you think you're so special because you're attached to one guy in office, and you really are disrespecting so many people, you're disrespecting the younger generation. Younger generation it's a vacuum. A young person doesn't understand what an older person understands. And if you don't get that, then you need a psychiatrist. You may need a white suit. And then yes, and we know that there's people out there trying to do things to young kids and teach things that are beyond believable. So here's the thing. Here it is. The younger kids, the 30-year-olds and younger, are very unhappy. Why? I think I just told you why. They're witnessing the destruction of social media and what it does to other people by mouthing it off and being very nasty. People need to be more abreast of, you can't be letting your kid be seeing all this very violent type of behaviors that they can see so easily. And then they're seeing video of people doing things to each other. I mean, it's very, very bad. So I truly believe that the challenge in our country is younger generations very unhappy because of what they're seeing and witnessing by the older generation that doesn't know how to behave correctly. So, but what's interesting though, the happiest are Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, Israel. That's kind of hard to believe right now what Israel's going through. Netherlands, Norway, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, Costa Rica, Kuwait, Austria, Canada. So younger people are more happy in Canada than here. Belgium, Ireland, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, Lithuania, UK. I haven't got to the U.S. yet. Slovenia, United Arab Emirates, U.S., So the U.S. is at number 23 compared to all those other countries of the younger generation. Oh, no, actually, I'm wrong in this. Get this. That was a poll in general happiness throughout the whole, general polling of all types of people. So what it says here is Americans 30 years and younger ranked 62nd globally in terms of well-being. Huh. Wow. So it's even worse than I thought. So younger generation, how much money's going to be spent? How much money's going to be spent by, for this future generation, for their unhappiness, their psychological challenges? That for us, in so many ways, the older generation, I guess, is creating. I don't know. It gets very complicated. Yesterday at X, it gets so bad at X. It's all about the hate of one guy, the love of another guy. So I'm not going to take sides on anybody, but there's a bunch of people going off about how the health care has been resolved. The health care, under this one person, the health care, but another person, the health care won't be, it'll be taken away, blah, blah, blah. So I posted, I said, I'm very intrigued to know why there's millions and millions of people that are still uninsured in this country, but you're making statements on X that the sitting powers to be have created the best healthcare system ever to mankind in this country, and that the next guy should take over, that there won't be any healthcare. But I said, but for the record, can you please share them with me while there's millions and millions of people that still have no healthcare? I don't get this. I mean, sincerely, not here to call out. Just curious. Can somebody help me out here? Reach out my channel. Does everybody have health care in this country? I mean, under the city administration, does everybody have health care? And what's intriguing about this is yesterday I was in the dentist's office, and I said to my dentist, great guy, been going there for 20 plus years, the former owner of the dental group that this guy has, Jose, my neighbor Ed Keene, lived right across the way here, and he was the dentist of Leesburg Dental for many years, and he sold it to three Peruvian brothers. That was like 20 plus years ago. But Ed, my next door neighbor, had a Corvette 01. He was a motorhead, motorcyclist, really cool guy. But he retired, sold the dentistry to this really cool guy. So I said to him, you know what? I'm curious. Do you see as many people with like what I just went through, 2 cavities, and I've had cavities my whole life growing up, and blah, blah, blah. I said, do you see this as much? All the technology, all the, the water picks, the electric toothbrushes, the knowledge. He's like, no, it's still the same. I'm like, really? So you still see the same amount of dental problems? He's like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, the easiest thing that mankind could ever use is dental floss. If every floss every day, it'd be a huge difference in the care of your gums and your teeth. He's like, no, it's no different than it was 100 years ago. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, think that through. There's all this technology, all the benefits of you taking the mouthwash and all the electric toothbrushes and the water picks and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, he still does pretty much the same dentistry that was going on for years and years and years. And then I talked about this before. I always thought dentists had the highest suicide rate years ago from having to look down somebody's nasty-ass throat all day long. I mean, yeah, right? And so, no, the reason dentists had the highest suicide rate is they had the medicine cabinet. Years ago, it's more strict now, so that has decreased significantly, but the doctors would get addicted to their own drugs, the gases, and all the codeines, all those really high potent. If you ever had root canals or major dental work, and the doctor gave you pills, and you didn't drive home like, wow, man, like you're on LSD or something. I mean, I haven't taken that, but I mean, I remember years ago when I had major root canal, and the doctor gave me all these pills. I was like, wow, this stuff's potent, man. This is back in the 90s. Whole point is, dentists, they had the highest suicide rate because they would get addicted to their own drugs and end up killing themselves. And the lady that worked there yesterday, the dental assistant, she said she's been in dental. She's like, you're exactly right. She said, I knew of 2 dentists that actually had killed themselves from the gas and taking too much gas and then the drugs. That's it. All right. Hey, can we have some happy conversations, right? Yeah, let's have some happy conversations. The Corvette Z06 is in the shop. And you know what? I'm so much on page of life. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And part of me is like, oh, you just create your own demise of your own car. But right now, it's at the shop today, and the car is going to be 10 years old. So it's actually 9 years old. And part of me is like, you better change out the radiator fluid. You better change out the brake fluid. You better change out the what was another? Oh, the injectors. Clean up the injectors, the air intake. Then there's a clutch master assembly or whatever that has fluids in it too, but that's like $1,000. So you know what? Let's just do this first, because this is going to be like $1,000, and then we'll go to the next. And I'm sure some people are like, well, why wouldn't Carvana? Are you kidding me? And it cracks me up how people get critical of Carvana. You know how many people have bought cars from regular standing brick and mortar car dealerships that have incredibly just terrible stories? But everybody gets hell bent. But I don't know, whatever. All right, I'll talk all day. I know that. I'm getting off. I'm leaving. I'm gonna shut the hell up. I get it. As always. Hey, what about the ice? Nobody's even reaching out, man. It's just like, dead in the water. Jesus Christ, man. I guess people are like, you kidding me? I wouldn't put that on my car. I don't want to be tracked down. They'll be watching that guy's channel and be thinking I'm like him. They may think I'm him. I'll probably get pulled over by the police. Yeah, thanks. IceHTVcomments@gmail.com. Get a sticker, right? Well, whatever. Share the channel. And you talk about unhappiness. Oh my gosh. All the unhappy videos out there is beyond belief. Oh my gosh. I gotta do a whole video just showing, everybody knows, I'm just like showing you all these people that's over. Yet the stock market is close to 40,000. And Jeremy Powell yesterday said that they're going to start lowering interest rates. So, it's beyond believable what's going on. So anyways, that's it. God bless. Stay safe. Have a great day.